This is the SBR Bowl Betting Special. He's Teddy Covers. I'm Drew Martin. Next game up, we got Saturday, December 29th, 12 noon Eastern, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's 12 noon Eastern kick. We got Michigan laying 7.5, Teddy. Total of 51 against the Florida Gators. How would you look to bet this Big Ten SEC Bowl game?
Well, I mean, let's start with the coaching matchup because it's kind of a fascinating matchup. Harbaugh's 2-0 versus the Gators. He's had success against this Florida team while at Michigan. However, Dan Mullen has faced the Wolverines once back in Mississippi State in a bowl game, and that wasn't pretty. Michigan backers will remember this one, 52-14. Mullen owned the Wolverines in that ball game. Admittedly, this is all previous history. It's all past history, but it's something worth noting. Harbaugh's success versus this team, Mullen's success versus this team as well, which when you're talking about a point spread of 7.5, both teams have success. Okay, both coaches have had success. What am I interested in? Taking the points. Then we start to look at the quarterbacks. You know, Shea Patterson got a fair bit of hype this season. You know, he's gotten hype. Got a bunch of hype at Ole Miss. And Felipe Franks, it was like, oh no, Felipe Franks, he's making another bad throw. He's making another bad. Franks got a lot better throughout the course of the campaign. Patterson didn't necessarily. In fact, when you look at the raw numbers, Felipe Franks, 2,284 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks. Shea Patterson, 2,364 yards, 21 touchdowns, 5 picks. They're basically the same. So this perceived QB edge for Shea Patterson going against a pretty darn good defense, you know, versus Franks, who's been playing SEC defenses all year. He's not going to be intimidated by what Michigan brings to the table. I know the Wolverines are very good defensively, but it's not a class difference to what Franks has been seeing all season. I wouldn't be surprised if the QB edge in this ball game, and I hate to say it out loud, I might go to Felipe Franks.
Man, that is an interesting angle. I mean, you bring up the stats. I wouldn't have known that off the top of my head. It's very similar stats from a guy that was hushing his own crowd at one point in the season there in the swamp. That got a lot of pub. And you're right, Shea Patterson, the move from Ole Miss to Michigan and the Harbaugh thing, it was a lot of pub. That's a great point by you, Teddy. What about the matchup of the Florida Gator defense, which overall was a good defense? However, there were games, you know, especially that Missouri game, Drew Lock carved them up at home, meaning in the swamp. So they're going to go here to a neutral site. It should be pretty neutral as far as fanfare. I'm guessing both pretty big followings. They'll fill up the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I'm sure. But how would you look for that matchup? Do you think Shea Patterson and company will be able to kind of carve up that Florida Gator defense?
You can't compare Shea Patterson and Michigan's offense to what Drew Lock in Missouri is doing. You know, it's night and day. I mean, they're two different styles. And every defense going to have a bad game once during the season. You know, I'm not surprised that Florida got a little bit overwhelmed that day. It was a bad day for them. Michigan's offense is not Missouri's offense. Shea Patterson is not Drew Lock. This is the Wolverines team. Again, they've been favored in every game this season. At Notre Dame, they went off the favorite. At Ohio State, they went off the favorite. They finished up, 6-6 ATS, 1-2 against the spread when favored by less than 10. So in literally 9 of their 12 games, they were double-digit chalk. Wolverines have not been tested a whole lot. And, of course, when they were tested, when favored by less than 10, they lost to Notre Dame. They lost to Ohio State. You know, Florida was a good point spread team this season. And defensively, you talk about how this matchup plays out. I think it plays out in the running game as much as any other factor. You know, Wolverines 13-0 when Karan Higdon runs for more than 100 yards over the last 3 seasons. And they've lost 12 of their 13 losses under Harbaugh. They've averaged fewer than 3 yards per carry. So the question is, can Michigan run the football? Can this offense be balanced against Florida? And that defense, I'm not convinced it will be, which means ain't no way in hell I'm laying. If I'm going to play this game, I want the underdog, not the favorite.
Teddy, there's some good stats in there, man. Michigan favored in every game. I'm not sure if I would have gotten that one. You know, the teams that would have came to mind, UCF, Alabama, Clemson. I wouldn't have thrown Michigan in there. Great stat. And, 7.5 right now on SBR odds. That's Michigan laying it. You got me thinking the Gators is the side here. SEC defense, Felipe Franks, very similar stats at the quarterback position. I don't see an advantage as far as location goes. Sounds like you're leaning Gators 7.5. Is that right?
Yeah, it'd be Florida or pass for this better. I will not lay the points with the Wolverines. despite my status as a Michigan alumni.
And any opinion on the 51?
I'm not betting this game over. You know,
Okay.
You asked me what's the strength of these two teams, both on the defensive side of the football. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked if you end up seeing this ball getting slung around a little bit in the second half of this game. So I'm not. The over is going to stay in the lean category for me. It's not something I'm primed to get to the betting window with.
All right. Well, you just heard it there from a Michigan alum. It's the Florida Gators 7.5 or pass. So best of luck with your bets out there.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.